a mod that allows you to make roller coasters with working carts, cart linking, and support for so many different roller coaster based things such as loops, inversions, chain lifts, jumps, and tiny little things as well such as diable tracks, balloons, and rivets that hold different sub-levels together. I'm going to be looking into this mod today for the first time and see what I can do with it. What I forgot to say in the intro is that this mod is Create Coasters Simulated, and what I'll actually be doing is I'll be putting this on a tier list, and any other Create Mod add-ons that I review in the future, I'll also be putting those on a tier list. So let's get into it and you'll see what I think of this mod at the end of the video. And we can go to Simulated Coasters. And you might be thinking, that's a very small amount of things for a mod that seems to be very popular right now. However, these 5 things can do a lot more than you may think. We've got the coaster track, we've got the coaster cart, track anchor point, the rivet, and the red balloon. Now, you can probably figure out what each one of these things do, but let's put these down and I can show you each thing one by one. So if you want to place any coaster track, it must have a track anchor point for it to actually be placed on, and it needs to connect to another track anchor point. So if we want to do a straight track, let's just put that there and the other one over to here, and we can connect the 2 up, and we've got a very accurate roller coaster track here actually, which, as said in the intro, does actually work with dies, which is actually pretty cool. So for example, I could do a pink track, which looks pretty nice. Something that is also useful for these tracks is to get chains, because if you see when I'm holding a chain here, I can now click on this and then go all the way back here and put this onto there, and now we have a chain lift which has an area to be powered. But if you saw when I was doing it, you can actually choose which side the shaft goes in. So over there, I actually chose the worst spot for it. You can move it using the wrench as well. And as you can tell here, you can actually do quite a lot with these tracks, including lifting them, extending them just a small amount from there. But you can also change their tilt. That's not tilt. I don't know what it is. This is the tilt. I think you can change a lot of things about them, and you can even hold left alt to disable snapping to have even more freedom of where it goes as well. So, I mean, that looks like something that might, it might not break someone's neck actually. This could though, depending on how fast it goes. But if we just break that so we can go back to making a normal track, I'm gonna make a very simple track real quick. So as you can see with what I've done here, you can actually make them go straight up. You can even hold left alt to disable auto smoothing to make it just a little less smooth, but also a little bit nicer to have. So if we've got it like that, then it'll go straight up. I don't know if that pillar is going to be in the way of anything. I don't think it will. And you can even, if I was to go ahead, put some industrial iron sheet metal up here for a little pillar, we can even make it go, I actually don't know if it's going to reach. No. Anchor points facing opposite directions can't be connected. Yes, we're going to need one above it first. So I put that there and then connect these 2. And then let's just disable auto smoothing, just because why not? We can even do something like that, which is pretty dangerous if you think about it. Well, it's not really thinking about it, just looking at it you can tell it's pretty dangerous. And then we'd be able to connect this one up to this one. And then I think I can use the wrench to... Let's just move that one down a little bit. You can extend it, but I think I want more to be able to change its curve. So let's do that. And then it goes straight down. I very heavily doubt it's going to be able to connect here. It actually can. Okay. That, well, I mean, I didn't use smoothing, so that is definitely going to kill someone. But now, if I was to put the chains probably all the way up and around to here, probably. Oh, that's the wrong way. Is it based on the closest area? So I will move over here and press that there, which it depends on how much speed we give it and if that's going to be okay. So if we get a creative motor, and then if we were to go up to here and power it, I guess we can power it from under because that seems to be fine. No matter what speed you give it, that is how fast this chain is going to be. So we've got it on 1, it's super slow. And we put it all the way to 256, it's absolutely speeding. I'm just going to put a clutch there with that there. Let's just get a lever on the side of that. And then now I've got a track to do something with. We can place a coaster cart here. Yeah, let's just put a chair on it. Let's get some... So I'm not actually sure if we need to glue this or not. I would assume yes. So let's glue all that together. And then if we flick this... it goes on a not so smooth loop, but it's most definitely a loop. Now, we do not want this at 256. We'd put this at 31, then it would bring up the suspense, but that is definitely too slow for it to go over. So what about 80? No, it's gonna... Oh, wait, actually, it manages to push it over. You've got a small bit, and then... Ooh, right around there. So, now let's see how this looks in first person for our first little ride on this. Oh, I actually don't like this. Oh, this is dreadful. And then the slight suspense, and then we go down here like this, and splats right into there. Now, I'm not someone who necessarily dislikes roller coasters in real life, but that does actually hurt my head quite a bit. I do want to see, can I just do that and it all goes? Oh, it does all go. You don't even need to glue it. Okay. So some other things that we can do with this mod, as shown before, is you can use rivets and red balloons. Now, if I go into rivet and hold shift, then it says allows blocks to be placed at any angle or offset from the grid. Press left alt during placement to rotate in 15-degree steps. Hold left alt during placement for precise 360-degree rotation, and then hold left control during placement for disabling position snapping, placing the rivet freely. So as you can probably tell, this sort of thing does mean we can just place a block wherever we want with its own sub-level, I think. I'm not necessarily sure of the naming, but then we can build off of it, which is certainly interesting, and anything that touches it automatically becomes a simulated object. If I was to break those, then they'd automatically fall down. And then red balloons as well, if we were to add them to a block, it's quite simple. It literally brings it up. It just has a maximum height of where it can go, and then it goes up and down. And you cannot put more than one balloon on there, because could not attach balloon. Host may already have one, but you can put multiple balloons if it obviously has multiple blocks. And because this is a aeronautics thing, it is weight dependent. So if it's got a weight imbalance, then number one, it's going to be harder to lift, but it's also going to be at an angle. You can also put rivets onto other simulated objects that have already been made using rivets, which does make for some interesting things you can make like that. And I believe, yep, it also works with a physics staff. It's just obviously attached to the ground, so I can't do much with it other than make it go all over the place. Now, I reckon people could do some pretty cool things with these tools that are being given to them. I'm just not the very greatest at ideas. I do also want it to be known that on the moderate page for this mod, they do disclose AI usage. That is likely just to be able to keep the mod page up. We don't know how much AI was used or anything like that. It does say that it was made in the Cursor IDE and utilized many of its AI-powered programming and debugging tools, but they have never and will never use AI to generate art, assets, or English text. So whatever that means, we're not sure how much they used for it, but AI was in fact used for this mod, which is the one depressing part about it. But for a further example of what you can do for this with this mod and a cool roller coaster to be made, I'm going to spend some time making some, and you guys can watch me build it using the replay mod. I'm going to use this time to give my honest opinions on this mod. Whilst there is quite a lot you can do with it, I do think that as it currently is, it falls short. And before I continue, I will say they do have multiple planned features on their page. That's hydraulic launches, coaster stations, more colourful balloons, and 2 wide cart bogies. However, they do use AI, and on top of that, those features are not currently available. If the AI was not used at all for this, and those features are in, I would put it on a higher tier. However, because of that, I'm putting it on B tier, and if those things existed in the mod currently, they would be A tier. So in future, this could very much be an A tier mod in my eyes, and you can see the rest of the video where I will be playing about with this roller coaster. And if you have any Create add-ons that you want me to look into in the future, then feel free to put them in the comments below and tell me how you feel about Create Coasters Simulated. So after spending like 20-30-ish minutes, we've got a very basic little track that goes all the way around, and we're going to ride it. And I forgot to also include how you actually couple these together. It is very simple. You just use chains in between the different coaster carts, and you can very easily connect them. I hope I said chains instead of trains, but who knows? Let's give this a try. We're going to do it in first person for ultimate sickness, and let's see what happens. definitely going to be getting some lawsuits about the necks broken from that one, but is definitely a very cool mod. Although there is the slight downside of it having some sort of AI used in it, it's still a very cool mod, and there are such like much cooler things that you can do than what I've done, which you can clearly see just from this.